I find the iPhone app project really wonderful and something to embrace for multiple reasons, but primarily for the dissolution of borders. Suddenly writing is not just something that has a postcode attached or has a coterie, a classroom, an almanac attached. It is much more of an open currency. But not wanting to get fiscal about it, I do embrace the idea that you mentioned about there being a much more of a almost a little bit medieval or Renaissance about this. It doesn't have to do with you know, between which covers you find yourself. It's really just it's the whole world as one, you know, engaging village, and that's an exciting notion. And really, it's sort of new media fighting the power of, you know, fighting the good fight. I'm David Astle, and I'm a writer from Melbourne, Australia. And as part of this app, you have 3 stories that have been through previous almanacs over the last 6 years. And that's what I do. And as well as short stories, I've written a couple of novels. I love plays, and I'm also a little bit of a crossword nut. So anything to do with language, I'm generally your guy. Short stories would probably be my preference. Only because they seem so deceptively simple. They're very inviting for a writer to try and execute. But then they more or less take you hostage, and you just have to get every word and sentence right. But it all comes down to the strength of the piece and how everything really needs to, you know, carry the story, deepen the story, and amplify the story. And I love that challenge. So that would be my, you know, my first love. But lately I've becoming more and more interested in dialogue and script, and that's because I'm such a verbivore. I just eat language, I love language. Something about script is very pared back and almost holds fancy vocab in contempt, and that I find it's almost like the opposite force has been drawing me in. So the last year or two I've been dabbling around in scripts. I really admire non-fiction writers, people like Michael Lewis and Malcolm Gladwell and Susanna Orlean, who can tell wonderful stories that also have deep repercussions and minute details and very important concepts. Being a teacher, which is the other, you know, side of life, and teaching writing, there is a lot of school of thought that says that's that's like herding cats. It can't be done. But I do believe what is wonderful about teaching writing is creating essentially creating a group of peers that can become this really self-strengthening circle. And so that the feedback is critical. There is an esprit de corps, and it becomes a very nurturing place. So much of writing is, you know, cloistral, locked away, monastic, and I just, for me, teaching and journalism are a chance to bust out and to meet people. Not necessarily to make them like me or for me to like them, but I do really thrive on, you know, the social dynamic. So being social is who I am. I love looking at words and seeing something that no one has ever seen before. That for me, if I could make those little, I call them brainstorms in a teacup, because they are so minor, and yet they're so thrilling when you find them.